All right, welcome to another video of the Target Individual Program, the Target Individual Experience. So just like it always happens before, I'll do a video after what transpired in terms of me not being able to get to speak to my kids. When I call Pam, her phone is busy or her phone is off. Actually, see, her phone is off, and I'll upload a video explaining what happened. And within call back about half an hour later or what have you later, all of a sudden, you know, um, her phone is ringing, but she's not answering. And so I decided, okay, let me call my son again. Call them, he picks up, right? So I said, hey, I've been calling you. What happened? And it's always the same thing. Oh, I didn't hear my phone. Now, apparently, he was away from his phone. And I think, like I said, this is because this is what they'll do. It happens with the babysitter also. It's the same thing. When Pam would go out or whatever on the day or where she's going, I'll call the kids, same thing, right? Can get in touch with them. I'll call her phone will be off. I'll do a video explaining. Then within half an hour later, call the kids back. All of a sudden, they pick up his phone. Now, when I'm talking to the kids, all of a sudden, her friend, her friend or her boyfriend, you can hear them in the background all day showing up. Oh, they're having all these conversations, trying to show this subliminal message in there. How's everybody doing? Everybody cool and such and such. I'm like, come on, the kids have been with you all friggin' day, right? All of a sudden they're on the phone with me coming in, and it's like, oh, how everybody's doing, everybody cool and all this stuff. And then I could hear her friend Ethan in the background talking to my son, because I asked him. I said, he was coughing. So I said, did your mother give you medication this morning? Medicine this morning. He was like, yeah. I said, did she rub you down with the Breed East because your cough sound really bad? He was like, no. I said, well, I said to him, I said, don't when I rub you down with the Breed Ease, doesn't your cough get better? He was like, yeah. I said, okay, well then, make sure next thing when it happens again, make sure she rubs you down with the Breed Ease. Always tell her, rub you down with the Breed Ease, and she knows this. But anyway, so her friend was like, oh, I believe some tissue right here. You could blow it, whatever. Just don't blow too hard because your nose will fall off and all this nonsense. Again, all these type of shots. I'm just like, yeah, I'm just ignoring the shit. Like, yeah, okay, whatever, whatever. So anyway, because again, they used to do this to me with Desmond, and I didn't really care who she was dating, and such and such. But again, it's a narrative that they want. It's a narrative they want to set. It's a narrative they created and want to keep and have to keep it up in order to fool people, in order to deceive people, right? But I understand this, right? Because I've always been the type of guy, even since I was younger. When the relationship is over, I just move on, right? Never look back. But then as you get older, you get to realize that what, sometimes when you're young, you don't know any better, right? But sometimes things happen in a relationship, and you know sometimes you need that space and time, right? Or sometimes people make decisions that are based on what other people say. All of a sudden they regret it, and then they want to get back. They want to work it out. But I'd be like, nope, nope, whatever. You don't want that successful, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, but like again, I have always been that way when I was younger. Okay, and I'm still somewhat that way. But I understand because you have when you have kids now, it's a little different. You try to kind of work things out. This is why when men get older, if the relationship is going bad, men tend to be the ones who always trying to work it out, trying to see if such and such. So anyway, but like I said, it's a narrative they want to create about USTIs. A narrative they have created about me, which is not true. And again, they do things covertly. Okay, so I would say, this is there was a video I was watching. Um, I forgot this. It's a psychiatrist, black psychiatrist, and he was like, you got to watch what white supremacy and white people do, and watch what they say. Okay, and you got to watch both, not just one, because what they say overtly is different from what they're doing covertly. Okay, and again, these are white supremacists I'm talking about here. Those they're on the police force, and particularly how they try to make it seem like they're trying to save black women. Trying to it's like a false fucking narrative that black women, you know, believe. I'm like, yeah. Well, look at the statistics, okay, of what white police officers do when they arrest black women. Right? They rape them, they sexually assault them, and because again they figure nobody's gonna believe them because they're black. So not like I said, they try to play two sides of the coin, you know, but it's the same coin, right? So, but they're playing two sides, right? Trying to be like, oh, well, we're protected, and then they'd be like, oh, we're protecting black men, not even black men, but we're protecting black kids and this and that. Well, we all know that's not true. Again, you gotta look at the reality, right? Don't go by what they say. And again, they use the pastors within the churches. They use the religion. It's a big part of getting people to join in on these crimes and these conspiring against someone to destroy that person's life, their livelihood, their family, their friends, all that stuff, right? And so you have to understand that, they've been doing this covertly for centuries, for particularly for us as black people. Okay, it doesn't matter where you're living as black, where you're living in a country in Africa, whether you're in the Caribbean, whether you're in Europe or have you, they're always conspiring. Okay, so don't just listen to what they say overtly. Understand what they're doing covertly. Okay, and as TIs is the same thing. When they try to send you subliminal message about this and that, just take a second and think about it. Think about it. Try to find that logical space in your mindset, that critical thinking. And it's hard because if you're in UTI, it's hard because when they drug you, they give you these drugs to soften up your mind, to keep you confused, so they can manipulate your mind in ways that people won't even understand and won't even recognize because they don't know. Right? We're ignorant to this stuff until it happens, and then because it hasn't happened to us yet, we'll look at another person and we'll say, okay, well, that person, something psychologically wrong with them. When the fact is that there's something psychologically wrong with all of us. Okay, because the people that are running the show, okay, don't want people who are well mentally and psychologically. Okay, so they create sicknesses. They create whether it be biological, physical, uh, mental, right? So they can sell us cures for money, you know, and particularly in the field of psychiatry. There's nothing scientific about psychiatry. Okay, understand this. There's nothing concrete about psychiatry. It's all theories. All right, and this is why if you Dr. Peter Bragg, and I have his book Toxic Psychiatry, which is I haven't finished reading it yet, but it's one of the reasons why I gravitated towards his work, right? Because after doing research on him, I understand that he's been fighting for the truth and telling the truth for decades, and particularly what has been done to and continue to be done to us as black people, okay? Which also coincides to what's being done to TIs, us as TIs also, okay? And there's a book that I want to get that I have in my cart, and it's called. It talks about how the Nazis, right? How they prepped their society for what was to come, for what they were planning to do. Okay, how they started conditioning the minds of the citizens, right, to accept what was being done. And then there's another book that he has called. This one is called. I'll tell you guys in a sec. I think it's called Psychiatry War on Inner City Youths. Okay? Go to my card. Yes, it says the war against children of color. Psychiatry targets inner city youths. Okay, and this book was written in I believe in 2002. In 2002. Okay? You know what I'm saying? And he talked about, from since the 80s. Okay? The 80s, man. And we're not looking at these things, you know? We're not even trying to understand these things. Even we as black people, we're not even trying to understand these things. The effect that it has on us as we get older. And this is again our conditioning. That we don't get angry by stuff. We don't think twice. That we're willing to listen to even the white supremacists who are in black skin. Okay? And if you're a black TI, go read this book called In Love with Whiteness. Okay? What did I do with that book? Okay, I'm sorry. So the book is called Addicted to Whiteness. And let me show you guys. Right? So this is the book. Right? Addicted to Whiteness. Okay, and it's the oppressed in league with the oppressor, a shame-based alliance. Okay, this is from Jerome E. Fox, PhD. Okay, and I started reading some of it, but it's also a workbook. And the one thing I love about this book that it is a workbook because it makes you analyze your thought patterns, your feelings, your emotions. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. Right, so you recently had a white police officer who was convicted of raping a nice. Okay, here we go. All right. Some reason my tabs is not. What is going on here? Again, my computer's being messed with. Uh, anyway, every time I hit my notification, a new tab pops up. Okay. All right. So, you know, again, it's the shit that they do when you start talking the truth. That they gotta find some way of you know messing with your damn. Or is it okay? Here we go. All right. Well, okay. That was my mistake here. my book was on my keyboard, and so every time I click on my notification, it opens up a new tab. Okay. So anyway, and again, as a TI, I know they mess with my computer, so sometimes when stuff like this happen, you'll end up, blaming them. But it happens. It happens, and like I said, I'm not afraid to admit that I was wrong about that. Okay, because there's a lot of things I was right on. Okay, and we should never be able to feel like we can't admit to when we make a mistake or we're wrong. Right? See, this is because we're not them, and this is what they do. They will never admit when they make a mistake and they're wrong because they always have to be right. They are the people that are in position of authority. They're the people who are in position in power. All right, and this is why when you sue the police department or you sue the government, what happens when they settle? What happened? They accept no responsibility. They admit to no wrongdoing. Okay, so understand who we're dealing with here. All right, so uh, let me get to that post so I can show you guys. Right. So anyway, so this book. Here's another one for it. So there's a woman who killed her 3 kids. Okay, and they released her after 2 years. And why did they release her? Why? Because she attended church during prison. Okay, I want you to understand how they use these things to recruit people into Christianity, into their religion. Okay, I want you to understand the extreme things that they will do because they understand the power of their religion in terms of conditioning people, and they know that people are waking up to the truth. So and there's an article that I read. I talk about how the criminal mind, the criminal mentality, how these people, they create who commit some of the worst crimes, and they still believe that they're going to heaven because God forgive them, Jesus forgives them, right? Jesus died for their sins. So all they got to do is go get on their knees and pray for and they're forgiven. You understand that? Anyway, so the here. Okay, here. So the Tennessee, actually, it's in Tennessee. Okay, and this is the one isn't the one about the cop, but this is just a white man, another white man. Okay, he rapes a 14-year-old girl. Okay, and what do you think happened? What do you think happened? Okay, he gets his his plea. Has a plea deal. So aggravated assault allow him to avoid jail time in the same county that a woman, Pam Moses, right, who was sentenced to 6 years in prison for registering to vote illegally. And mind you, it was not her fault. Okay, they told her she could. She called. She called the board of registration, elections, what have you, in her state or in her county, and they told her, yeah, she can go ahead and register. And she did not register. She attempted to register. Okay, so, you know, right, 6 years. Meanwhile, man raped her. White man raped a 14-year-old girl, and gets probation. Again, understand the reality and look at the reality. Not the conditioners. Yes, and when you're a TI, when you get to that stage where they know that you're becoming awakened, and you start to see things, you start to say things that they don't like. You know, uh, you know, this. You know what I'm saying, anything that you can say that they feel is a threat to the status quo, they're gonna attack you. They're gonna do things behind closed doors. They're gonna covertly manipulate things, covertly manipulate you using all various tactics or all sort of tactics. Okay, in order to destroy you. Because if they can't control you, like I said, they'll destroy you. I mean, how many times I saw a video of these people coming up, walking in front of me, taking stacks of money in front of the wall. They used to do shit to me early in my targeting, telling me to, be quiet. You're going to make money, But like I said, I will not be a tool to be used against my own people or anybody else, for the matter of fact. I won't do it. Can't do it. And this is what they don't like. When they understand that, one, they can't use money to control you. Two, they can't use technology to control you. They're going to destroy you. Okay? And in doing so, they're going to make sure that they have to villainize you to try to use it against you, to try to blackmail you. If that doesn't work, they're going to spread all kind of rumors. But once you study it and understand and go back to the things that have happened to you, even prior to you being a target, right? But understand this, as I said, prior to you, you've always been a target. But prior to it becoming overt, just go back and look and see. Okay, you'll see what's happening, and then they'll try to make it into a race. Either you're in the front or in the back. See, for me, because I keep doing this video, I'm always going to be in the back. As if I'm speaking the truth, I'm always going to be in the bottom. All right, I'm always going to be in the back. That's why. So then, what they started doing also recently is that when I get on the bus, I'm sitting on the bus, they all start looking at the back of the bus. Okay, they're looking at me and they look at the back of the bus. And I gotta laugh because again, you see, being in front means nothing to me. Okay, what means more to me is the mindset. See, once we start to shift our mindset from being what they condition us to be, which is narcissistic, sometimes even malignant narcissistic, right? Materialistic, okay? And we start shifting our mind towards a more humanity-based way of thinking. They don't like that. Because that means you're going to stand up for the next person that you see wrong is being done to. Now also that you're going to stand for yourself, okay? And you're going to look at each other and want better for each other. But they don't want that. They want to create the division, the separation. That is how they rule, that is how they control people. Okay? And particularly with us as black people, they'll promote and they'll financially, allow a few of us to get to a certain level. But when we get to that level, if we have a shift in our way of thinking, guess what happened? Guess what happened? We start seeing with some of these black celebrities what's happening to them. We see it. Their shows get canceled. All of a sudden, they're not supported anymore. Why? Because as soon as they start to get the idea of building their own and creating their own, that's it. That's it. All right. So this has been a long video, but I was going to follow up about the issue with Pam and the kids, and not for me not being able to get in touch with them and stuff like that. And it just went on to this. But there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about. All right. And you start to hear since. Okay. I don't. What the hell? Okay. You guys hear that? It just. Anyway, so. Like I said, there's a lot to talk about, and we got to keep talking about these things. But the fact is that you have to understand that they don't want us to talk about these things, okay? Because they don't want people waking up and becoming aware. They don't want that, okay? So I will talk to you guys in the next video.